I'm 61 years old and I've never been out of shape. We live in a world of fast foods and diets that promise to help you lose weight fast. Everything is fast, fast, and faster. Everyone wants it done today, in an hour, or now. But getting in shape and staying healthy is not fast. It's not a trick. It's not a quick fix. Each day you make a commitment to be healthy and to stay fit for life.
America, welcome to Live2B100, America's first TV show targeted and designed specifically for you to learn how to add years onto your life. Now, how are we going to do that, you might be asking? Well, we plan to share new information, ideas, and concepts with you regarding fitness and nutrition. We will also be introducing you to new technology that is assisting people around the world in becoming healthier. And when we are done, if you give it your very best shot, it may be possible that you too can live to be 100.
This year, in 2009, 33% of the population of the United States will be over the age of 65. That's roughly 105 million people staring in the mirror and seeing their mortality stare back at them. Join us with the amazing Dr. Ted Gambordella and Deanne Moore on the new hit show, Live to Be 100.
You know, one of the favorite components of this show is introducing you to someone who has helped improve the life of others.
Now, whether they are a mature adult or not, our first guest has not only stood the test of time, but has truly made an impact in the arena of fitness worldwide.
Larry North believes that any program you can't do for the rest of your life is not worth doing for a single day, and I think he's dead right on that one.
Not only has Larry authored 3 books, Living Lean, Get Fit, and Slim Down for Life, he developed Larry North Fitness, a franchise fitness club.
Well, today, folks, Larry is here to help us crack the fitness code and tell us what we can do in our homes on a daily basis to stay fit and possibly add years to our lives. Please put your hands together and welcome my good friend, Mr. Larry North.
Hello, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Happy to be here. In fact, I've known this guy when he was a young man in his 30s.
I'm sorry.
Right. We've known each other almost 28 years now.
Yeah.
Have you really? Okay, now, you believe that any program you can't do for the rest of your life is not worth doing at all. Is that right?
Well, yeah, because any program that is temporary is only going to yield temporary results. So therefore, it's not going to be a program that you can sustain or do for the rest of your life.
Well, that makes sense. If I'm going to work out, I want to do something I don't want to just do it one day and then I never want to do it again if it's too hard.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
Can you tell us what you mean when you say the more people are denied something, the more they want to try to do it?
Well, you know, you can't be in a state of deprivation for very long. You know, think about it. When you're even children, when they're told no, they think yes. And as adults, we don't like to be told what to do. Your children don't like to be told what to do. People need to be able to do a program that's doable. And as you know, I spend a lot of time helping a lot of people. I mean, I can't even think of the testimonials. I had a guy just recently come in, he'd lost 265 pounds on my program. But more importantly, he'd kept it off for years. And I think even more importantly than that, he's a happier individual. And one thing we do know, more than ever now, is the importance of stretching your emotional muscles, not just your real muscles. You've got to be emotionally fit. You can do all things correctly. But let's face it, I don't believe that food's really the problem. I think life is the problem. And that's more evident than ever before now. So quite often, someone that has an issue with food, sometimes just a minor setback, like a flat tire on a rainy day when their cell phone doesn't work and they're late for a big meeting, could cause them to have
That'll put you over the edge.
Could cause them to have a lapse. But for many people, a lapse turns into a serious relapse. So I really encourage people to work on their discipline, to work on their commitment, to work on their humility, to work on forgiveness and work on self-forgiveness. These are just a few of the components that help you be fit, not only physically, but also on an emotional level.
One of my favorite things about you is that you don't believe in diets. Tell us why you don't believe in diets, because I hate a diet.
Well, here's the thing. We know now, and we've known for a long time, that diets just inevitably don't work. You have to learn to eat, not diet. You have to learn to eat to feed the muscle. Eat
instead of depriving yourself, and you can't have this.
You just have to feed your body.
You can eat.
Think about this. Dieting is a metabolic killer. You know, so if you want to kill your metabolism, starve yourself. You know, don't eat. If you're not hungry in the morning, you probably have a dead metabolism. If you eat one time a day, you probably have a dead metabolism. If you go to sleep with a lot of stress in your life, you probably have a dead metabolism. If you were a yo-yo dieter, you've probably killed your metabolism. So the only thing that's going to resuscitate it, in other words, eating to lose weight is almost like taking shock pads to your dead metabolism and bringing it back to life.
You know, I've known Larry for almost 27 years, and Larry was the first personal trainer in Dallas, for you folks who
I
don't
was
know.
really one of them.
He was one of the first people that ever said, you know, somebody will pay you to teach him how to get in shape and stay in shape for life.
And that's when you thought he was crazy.
No, I thought that this is a great idea, but I didn't think anybody would catch on to it. And he's not only proven it, he's done it for 30 years
but you
and
know
grown
what?
it.
I never did it for money. I had a gift. I knew that people responded to my words, and I was encouraging people in the gyms when I was even a teenager. And people, I'd find them coming in the next day, and they'd be asking me questions. And I just was really lucky. And I was there at the right time, but I also believed that there was a skill set that people could have. And then I look back in my hometown of Dallas, and there must be thousands of trainers now. In fact, I know several hundred that work for my company.
And everybody, he talks about having their own personal trainer and stuff, so that's excellent.
Yeah, thank you, Larry. I'm looking forward to having you show up a bunch of times in the future, buddy.
All right, we will be right back. Don't forget to log on to www.live2b100.com and check out our daily dinner menu. More Dr. Ted after this. Now get up and get those muscles moving. We're going to be right back.
More with our special guests when we return.
Welcome back. One of the favorite things about the show is you never know what's going to happen next.
Oh, you can say that again.
You know, our next guest is trained with a company called Yoga Fit, and she specializes in teaching yoga to ladies over 40 years old. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Skyla Ramirez to the show.
Hello, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
We're so happy to have you today.
Happy to be here.
Now, what exactly got you started in yoga?
Well, before I was doing yoga, I was into kickboxing, boot camp, all sorts of high-impact exercises. And then I got into a car wreck, which limited all that sort of activity. And my doctor did recommend to me to try some gentle yoga.
What age can you start taking yoga at?
And yoga can start at any age. I teach classes where mothers start coming in with their babies, and then I teach classes at the senior center as well. There is no age limit. Anyone can do yoga.
Skyla, I'm not sure exactly how old my mom is because she's never told me, but I'm assuming she's in her mid-70s. She takes yoga 3 times a week.
Yep. If you can breathe, you can do yoga.
Well, you know, we talked earlier about how Larry North kind of started the private one-on-one training. Do you do that with yoga?
Yes, we do. We do one-on-one training. We do offer training as personal trainers. We come in and offer yoga to our clients. We do it in small groups and in large group exercise settings as well. Groups of 30 to 100 people even.
So is it expensive?
It is not expensive. It depends on where you go. If you're looking at studios, pricing may be different. But with Yoga Fit, we've made yoga attainable to the masses. It's quite affordable.
Okay, now, mother of 3, and as we know, a lot of people out there are thinking, how long are your classes? Because I've heard a lot of people talk about it's an hour and a half, and do you have varied classes for those that don't have enough time?
We do, and it just is a matter of looking around at your local health clubs, gyms, studios, even personal trainers. A class could be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half for your average class.
Well, let me ask you one thing. The purpose of the show is to tell people how to live to be 100. How will yoga help you to live longer?
Yoga will help you to live longer because it's not just about the overall fitness aspect from a physical standpoint. This is about combining the metaphysical, the mind with the body, the emotions that come into play with that as well.
It's holistic.
It's holistic.
Yeah,
It's well-rounded.
I think there's 5 parts to fitness, and that's the resistance training, the nutritional part, the flexibility part, the breathing, and the mental. And y'all are both emphasizing the mental and the flexibility with yoga, so that's a great program.
Sounds like your mind has to be in it to be fit.
Absolutely.
My brother's actually been in Thailand at a yoga retreat for 5 months.
Wow.
Wow.
5 months? Wow.
Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, Skyla and her friends are going to give us a little bit of a little yoga lesson.
Oh, it's going to be great. You're going to want to stick around. We'll be right back.
We're back, and just in time, we're going to have Skyla Ramirez from Yoga Fit, who is going to teach us how to do some yoga right now.
We're ready. Teach us something.
All right, well first let's just start with learning how to breathe. Our breath is the foundation of our entire yoga practice. So let's start with our feet hip width distance, rolling the shoulders down and back so we get rid of any sort of an anxious posture, opening our hands up wide. And as we breathe, we're looking for stillness in the chest, allowing the belly to get big when we inhale. So let's all take a deep breath in.
Like the belly go out?
Like your belly pooches out. I know most of us are focused on sucking our stomachs in all day, but this actually inhibits our breath. So as we inhale, let's push our stomachs out. Exhale, pulling the navel into the spine. This sort of breath is actually strengthening a muscle in the body, our breathing muscle called our diaphragm. Once we learn how to breathe, it's going to make our yoga practice more meaningful.
Okay.
Now, adding to this, let's put a little movement in with our breath. Inhale, sweeping the arms up, pressing palms together, exhaling as we come down. And let's just try a couple more of these. Deep breath in, really opening up the chest muscles so our hearts can beat bigger and stronger. Inhale, lifting up, tall and proud with the spine. Exhaling to the heart. Now let's inhale one more time, rising up. And on our next exhale, let's sweep down to the ground, bending our knees, slowly hinging at the hips, sweeping as low as we can, and then inhaling right back up. This time, let's sweep and sit into a chair. We're going to sweep back, sinking our hips, reaching out with the palms.
Ooh, I feel that one.
Now, if we're just beginning this practice, we may want to bring our hands down to our thighs for some spine support. And as we begin to build strength with this process, beginning to lift the arms up a little higher. Let's inhale up again, combining the two. Exhale, sweeping to the floor, swan diving. Inhale, coming back up. And then sitting back into a chair, arms behind us.
Well, you can
feel
it firing
This
up
is
the muscles.
strengthening our legs. This is strengthening the quadricep, the hamstring, also improving posture in our torso from our shoulders to our hips. Inhale, rising up. Let's learn another basic posture, bringing the hands into the heart, stepping our left foot back and slightly angling the heel in, keeping our right knee bent. This is so that we don't lock out our knees. Turning the hips so that our left hip and right hip are squared. This is another pose to help strengthen the legs and also to help get a little bit of stretch and rotation into the left leg and the left hip while we're anchored here.
Aren't these the poses that are supposed to be using like every muscle, activating every muscle in the body?
This Warrior One pose uses every muscle in the body. We can accentuate the arm strength here by sweeping the arms up overhead, imagining that we have a beach ball between the hands, pressing inward, strengthening biceps, triceps as we extend upward through the hands. In this way, we're hugging the muscles onto the bone.
You feeling this, Dr. Ted?
Yeah, I feel a stretch.
From here, let's flow into what's called Warrior Two. We're going to slowly open up the left hip, turning our left toe to the left part of the room, and then extending the arms out, shoulder height. Let's
our
roll
front feet
our
are
shoulders
facing
down.
forward?
Our front foot faces forward.
Okay.
Our left foot is going to face towards the side. And also ensuring that our knee is over our ankle. We want to keep what's called a stacked joint. This is the strongest anatomical posture for our bodies to keep our bones and muscles safe. As we're reaching out in our Warrior Two pose, thinking about what this embodies. This pose is the embodiment of wisdom, strength, and compassion. Everybody feeling smarter while we're here?
How does this compassion?
Compassionate, usually because we're practicing truth with ourselves here. More compassion for ourselves than anything else. Knowing that if our arms get tired, we can always bring them down to the hips, still focusing on the strength in the legs, giving the arms a
my
rest.
legs here, like, because I don't want to slip.
Yep.
Pulling my legs together, I feel all my legs activated.
Oh, it is a wonderful pose to strengthen the inner thigh muscles and to anchor through the soles of the feet. Let's come back into Warrior One position, slowly rotating forward, stepping into our mountain pose again where we started with our breath. So let's move into a little bit of balance, bringing the hands up and into the heart. Standing on one foot, opening up, bringing the foot either to the inside of the leg, keeping it low, or bringing it up just a little bit higher.
We've got to take a break, and we'll be right back.
We'll take a quick break and be right back. More on Live to Be 100 when we return.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Live to Be 100. With me today is Robin Riddell.
Somewhere over the rainbow,
At
a land that I've heard of.
Once in a lullaby.
Maybe we shouldn't quit our day jobs.
Not thinking we should.
All right, well, actually in today's nutritional segment, we're going to explore the rainbow you can find on your dinner plate.
A rainbow on my dinner plate.
Do you know how important it is to incorporate color into your diet?
Skittles?
No, we're not talking about
Dang it.
Skittles.
Okay, what kind of colors are you talking about?
We're
This
talking
is all I
about
see.
healthy fruits and vegetables and proteins. Okay, like take yellow and orange. Fruits and vegetables like sweet potatoes and pumpkin and mango, those contain carotenoids, which reduce the risk of cancer.
Okay, and so we want to put those in foods so that we can eat them.
Absolutely.
often.
And take your dark green vegetables like spinach and broccoli. Those are high in lutein, which keeps our vision sharp and clear. The blue vegetables, blueberries, they're loaded with antioxidants and all these wonderful anthocyanins, which prevent tumors. And then your red foods, like your tomatoes and your watermelon, are full of lycopene, which also fight cancer.
Okay, I just want to keep eating.
I know, it's beautiful.
What do we got here? Talk
Okay,
to me
well,
about
I
this.
want to talk about, when you think about what you eat in a day, if you could put on a table all the foods that you eat.
It would fill more than just
Wow,
right here.
tell me about it. But if it looks, if your color palette is looking like this, okay, that may look kind of good,
Okay,
right?
we have like one color going on
But it's
here.
one color going on here, okay?
It's
So
fried.
this is not good, okay? No color. But look at this baby.
Now, you
Look
got to
at
admit,
that.
I don't care if you don't like to eat healthy. That looks good.
Does that smell? Doesn't that smell
Yeah,
good?
that looks good.
Okay.
Looks good.
So this is what we're talking about. This is a delicious chicken rainbow delight with a carrot radish salad and raisins and
This has all the
broccoli.
things you were talking about, all the carotenes that'll help you.
Exactly. When you're in the produce aisle, just start looking for color, and plus it's pretty. Your kids will eat it because it's so pretty,
Okay, well, I want to have that recipe.
Oh, you got it, girl.
That looks actually-
www.live2b100.
That's what I'm saying every day. All right, thank you so much. And remember, all of these recipes, as she mentioned, and of course our nutritional information, all of that from today's show can be found on our website, www.live2b100.com.
Here's a fork.
There you go. Give it to me.
Yeah.
All right, and remember, if you're over 40 years old and you're wondering how to keep up your energy, keep it up throughout the day, email us at www.live2b100.com, and you can ask Dr. Ted about keeping up with your energy level. We'll be right back with Dr. Ted right here on Live to Be 100.
Don't forget to stretch while you wait for us to come back on Live to Be 100.
We love that we can introduce you to new technology that helps you improve your health.
Our next guest has combined chiropractic care, therapy, active rehabilitation, and strength training for world-class athletes for national and international competitions.
He also provides chiropractic care and anti-aging consultation to top celebrities all over the world. Let's give a great big welcome to Dr. James Stockton of Team Doctors.
Hello.
How you doing? How are you?
Hey, welcome. Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it.
Great.
You came all the way from Chicago?
Oh yeah, it was a nice flight, a couple hours.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm awfully glad to have you here. Tell us, what is the amazing human spring step that you talk about?
Well, people talk about they lost a spring to their step. Athletes have lost a little step to their game, and what I did was about 15 years ago, I tried to determine how is it that we lose the spring to our step. So I thought, well, where do we step? We step from our feet.
Sure.
And I figured, well, the best place to start is at the foundation.
So is that how you check to find if you've lost your spring?
Well, yeah, it's interesting that when we do analysis for spring, we check the walking or the gait pattern. And a lot of doctors, you sit down in the examining room and you grab a seat. Before you even see the doctor, already seated. And when the doctor walks in, they do a couple reflex tests and they say, what's wrong with you? And then they say, well, I have a bad back, or I have a bad knee, or my foot hurts. And they say, well, we'll do an exam when you're sitting or you're laying down. What we do in our office is we make the people walk first.
Wow.
Yeah. And from the walk, what we can tell is exactly how the bones are articulating and where the spring is, if the person has a good spring or if they don't have a good spring.
Well, how can you bring the spring back?
Well, you see, what happens is that over time, when we wear, first of all, just wearing shoes, a shoe is a leather binding device. Certainly we have to wear them, otherwise we can't go to work barefoot.
Right.
But what we have is a shoe that is a leather binding device, and we know that anytime we bind the body, like if we put a brace on our elbow and we do exercises, this elbow will be weaker than the other elbow.
Right.
So just by wearing shoes alone, we are actually making our feet weaker, and the spring in our step is weaker.
So is the way you walk can actually affect the spring in your step?
Exactly. And as a matter of fact, you know, that we've taken away all the hills from our environments, and we have gotten away from the natural terrains. So as a result, we're walking on flat surfaces with our spring mechanism, which is bound by a leather binding device. And of course, those two combinations weaken us, and over time, the foot gets stiffer and stiffer and stiffer.
So how do you bring it back?
Well, you know what we have is we have exercises that we do on the treadmill.
Right.
Well, that's only walking forward.
Okay.
You know, we do that already in our daily activities.
Right.
So why do that again? You know, what I recommend to the patients is if you have a limited time, what we do is the things that we don't do in our daily life, we walk sideways to develop our muscles in our feet from different directions.
Oh.
So just walk sideways can help you develop this when you have like off time or you're sitting around. You can just walk sideways?
Well, here's what we do. First of all, you can't exercise your feet when you have a shoe on the foot.
Oh.
You have to take the shoe off.
Okay.
And people say, well, you could get hurt. You know, I mean, the bottom line is that, you know, martial artists, as you
Right.
know, they take their shoes off and they throw each other on the mat at very high velocities and they get right back up again. Kids run around barefoot. They
All day.
All day. They fall down, they cry for a minute, and they get back up and run around again.
Right.
The reason is because kids run this way, that way, and they develop a nice, sound, balanced strength in the foot that keeps the foot sound and keeps the spring active.
Doctor, as you know, our show, Live to be 100, we're trying to teach everybody here how to live to be 100. How can this process help us to live longer?
Well, you know, see, when you have a breakdown of the spring mechanism, what it does is it causes because it's the foundation, it causes a catastrophic degeneration of each joint. Hip joint replacements, knee joint replacements, that slows us down. And also the release of the inflammation causes aging of our bodies. So by restoring the foundation of our body, what it'll do is allow us to walk without having degenerative joint disease and release of inflammation, and it'll keep us more active. We can exercise more.
Right.
Well, this is so interesting. If I wanted to learn more about it, or if our audience does, how do we get in contact with you or get books or something? Or?
Do you have a website?
You know, all of my lectures are on teamdoctors.org. You can just go to the website, and I have all the lectures right on the website.
Wow.
And you can watch them right there. Also, if you're bored with the lecture, you can pull down the transcript, and you can read it in the privacy of your own home.
Thank
Well,
you,
that is
Doctor.
great. So much. Thank you so much
Thank
for being
you
on our
so
show.
much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Now, we do have to take a really quick break. When we come back, we will meet a woman who champions good nutrition.
We'll be right back. Don't go away.
We'll take a quick break and be right back. More on Live to Be 100 when we return.
As you are well aware, many people suffer from heart attacks and diabetes.
Yes, but did you know that also some of the things we put into our body can help ward off these diseases?
Our guest is a medical doctor with an impressive commitment to the military and to the health of millions of women. As someone who has watched members of her family die of heart attacks, she's also made a commitment to a fitness nutrition connection, a Fit Nutrit look at health and fitness.
Please help us welcome Dr. Elizabeth Clark.
Hi, Doctor. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you
Wonderful
so
to be
much.
here.
Now, we understand that you were one of the very first women that was actually in the military operations. Is that correct?
Special operations, I was their first woman in Air Force special operations in a combat position.
And how did you get that? How did you get there?
I kept asking until the answer was yes. Actually, Les Aspin changed the law in 1993, and I was there. I was standing waiting for it to happen.
Wow, and you started working on nutrition while you were in the military. What brought that?
When you're out there and you're in a small unit, especially out in an austere environment, if the human machine isn't well maintained, you're going to be either a liability to yourself or to the whole team. So it's really important to maximize everything we can, maximize nutrition, hydration, and fitness.
Now, you're a doctor and you're working with weight loss and all kinds of things. Now, how with this economy, it seems like we spend money based on our income. Do you think that's affecting us?
I think it's affecting us because we've gotten into the habit of eating convenient food. And convenient food is just that, convenient, but it is loaded with empty calories.
So people are making unhealthy survival tactics with these convenient foods?
Right, they can't break the habit and make the time to prepare simple, clean foods with fruits and vegetables and clean proteins.
You think that's the way we need to just prepare ahead of time? Is that what you're kind of saying?
What it's going to take, and most of my patients are ladies, and they're the ones that do all the food preparation. And basically it takes 1 or 2 nights a week to get set up for the whole week. Wow. And you pre-do your portions, you pre-do all your buying twice a week, and that way, in fact, they even make breakfast at night.
Okay, it sounds like a lot of work, but it really makes it better.
It isn't, and it actually saves money because every trip through the drive-through is $8.
That's true.
You know, I'm in a hurry a lot of times, and I take a nutrition bar, and I understand you're developing a real healthy, good-tasting bar.
Ooh, we want to hear about this one, so you can share it with everybody.
Yes, when I started with the weight loss and cosmetics, I was very frustrated because I couldn't find a good protein bar that didn't taste like sawdust, that had good protein, quality fiber, and some complex carbs, and a good taste.
Yeah, that's the key. It's got to taste good.
So I could get all the good stuff, but I couldn't get the good taste. So I went to our creator of Rejuvenex, which is our weight loss supplement, and he said, well, Liz, tell me what you want, and I'll make it. So it's in production, and we hope to have it in the next couple months. So we'll have a protein bar and a protein shake, and we are also coming out with a all-natural appetite suppressant.
And how can we get those? Do you have a website or something?
We do have a website, Weight Loss Cosmetics Surgical Centers of America.com.
Weight Loss Surgical Centers of America.com.
I'll give you the abbreviation.
Since our show is Live to Be 100, how can following your advice help us to live longer?
25% of the adult U.S. population is currently pre-diabetic.
So you can actually eat foods that would help you not become a diabetic or prolong it, or?
Actually, you can cheat your genes. You can keep yourself from expressing those genes by what you put in your mouth.
Okay, I like what you're saying. You can cheat the genes? That's
yes,
good
ma'am.
stuff. All right, thank you so much. We appreciate you being here today.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Clark, for being on the show.
Thank you. Okay, we will be right back. Everybody stay with us.
Don't go away. We're coming right back.
Know anybody near or at 100 years of age? Write to us at Live to Be 100 and we'll celebrate their birthday with you. We might even have them on the show. More when we come back.
Today I'm going to show you a little basic exercise using stretch tubing. And a couple things I want you to notice. Everybody you see on the floor has a different colored tube. The lighter, the yellow and the red are the lighter ones. The green is getting a little bit heavier, and the black is the heaviest stretch tubing. So when you buy your stretch tubing at the store, actually the red is a little bit heavier than the green, you want to make sure you're using the right type of stretch tubing for your own strength and conditioning.
How would you know? Will it mark it on there?
It'll have it written on there. It'll have light, medium, heavy, and extra heavy.
Okay.
So you want to make sure you get the right one. You want to make sure you get one that's long enough. Most of them are approximately 4 feet to 5 feet long. I have one that doesn't even have the handles on it because you can buy the tubing without the handles and it's just as cheap, or it's actually a lot cheaper and you can make it very effective. But we're going to learn some basic exercises you can do at home that'll start you on the stretch tubing program because you need to do resistance exercise. And also we're going to learn some new shows where I'm going to show you how to do stretch tubing while you watch TV. You can actually be exercising while you're watching me.
Now I want to do that. I want to watch TV and exercise.
So let's take your tube and step on it nice and firm on with your left foot.
Okay.
We're going to do a basic curling exercise. You're going to take this weight and you're going to put it by your side and you're going to curl your arms.
Do you go all the way down?
You want to go all the way. You're going to go down as far as when it stops stretching you.
Okay.
So you go here and you want to go up as high as you can. You want to go up as high as you can.
And how
now
many
you can
times?
take it and pull it out to the left and the right. So you're going out wider, as you can see right here. That works a different muscle. You can take it and you can curl it across. You can take it and you can curl it across.
Well, Dr. Ted, how do you know how many of each one
Till
you
you're
should
tired.
do? Just
You
keep
generally want to
changing them?
do, depending on your resistance tube, you're going to do between 8 to 15 with each arm for each one of these exercises, and you should do it for sets. If the only thing you're going to do is the stretch tubing for the exercise that day, you want to do it for 15 to 30 minutes. So you can do it for an awful lot of them.
Well, that's good, because if I did it when I got tired, I'd be done.
That's right. So now we're going to stretch it up to the right,
That's
to the
going to
left.
burn.
Now this is really working our shoulders. And you're going to do this to the front, straight to the front,
Do you lift it as high as you can go? Or
as
just
high as it's comfortable with your tube, and then straight to the side. If you're lifting it as high as you can and it feels really light, your tube's too light. If you can do it more than 10 times, The tube is too light.
Can you tighten it up in any way, or you need to get another
Well,
tube?
you don't want to really, I can show you that in just a second, but you don't want to do that if you can help it. So now we're going to take it and curl it. So you're going to take it and roll it across.
Ooh, wee.
Roll it across.
That's not easy.
And now you can take it and do it the other way. Y'all feel that? And yours is heavy, that's why you're making that noise. Okay. You can put it on your feet here and stretch it out here. And you're going to lock it on your hips, and you're going to do a squat and lift up.
Hold it just right here?
Yep. Now, that's not going to give you a lot of resistance because you're doing a squat. If you want to get the stretch tube effect, reach down and roll your tube over and make it very short. Now squat down and stand up. Now squat down
Oh, I
and
feel
stand
that
up.
burning.
And you can feel that an awful lot. So you're getting a good
Do the same
exercise
thing,
program.
about 15 of these? Or
As many as you can do comfortably.
well,
Now,
that'd be one.
yeah. If your tube, now I want you to take a tube and try and press it straight all the way over your head. You're going to find that it's too hard, especially with hers, it's too hard for Teddy. When you have that tube that way, I want you to take it and put one arm down. That way you have more distance on your other arm, then you can press it up. That's really working our triceps.
Now remember, as in all of our programs on Live to Be 100, we encourage you to visit our website to sign up for Dr. Ted's newsletter and download Ted's exercise sheets and progress charts. So, go do some stretching. We'll be right back.
As always, exercise, recipes, and progress charts are available on our website, live2be100.com. We'll be right back.
One of my favorite parts of the show is introducing you to new ways to stay healthy and improve the health of the mature adult.
Our next guest is on the cutting edge of weight loss and weight management, but he can tell us how parts of the body are affected by weight gain. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Dr. Brian Jones.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you for
We're
inviting
so
me.
happy to have you here today.
I'm glad to be here.
Now, we just have, the main question, how do we manage losing weight?
Well, that's a good question. It's a question I hear every day. And most of the time, when I hear that, it tells me that I need to talk to that person about their food. They need a food education. Weight management is not a complex problem. It's not easy, meaning that, if it was easy, we wouldn't have an obesity problem in the United States.
We'd all do it.
Right, exactly. But it's not complex. It's about balance. And it's, when I say balance, I mean calorie balance. Calories in, calories out equals weight. There's really only 3 variables. So
Makes a lot of sense.
What's wrong with some of those fad diets you see on TV or in magazines and stuff?
weight management, weight control is a long-term problem. You didn't wake up in the morning. If you have a weight problem, you didn't just wake up this morning with a weight problem.
Right.
It's something you've been gradually
But
building
it
up.
feels like you wake up fat for me. It
Yeah, where
does.
did this come from, right? And most of the fad diets, while they can be successful, they're
Right.
short-term. If you ask someone to dramatically change the way that they eat overnight, so it's a New Year's resolution problem. On January 1st, I'm going to be a different person. Well, that never works because you're the person you are for a reason. So you have to address those underlying reasons.
Well, I have 3 kids, as you know, and working. A lot of times I'm wondering, how can I help my energy level? Are there certain things I can eat or that I need to be doing?
Well, that's where exercise comes in. Weight management is mostly about calorie intake. However, when you restrict your calories and you start losing weight, you're going to get tired. And if you're not exercising, if you don't have that balance of output and intake, if you don't have the output there, you're going to get tired. Your body's going to conserve energy. It's going to say, "Wow, the calories are short here. I need to not put out as much energy every day."
Yeah.
So if you're on a diet, that's one of the reasons you can be tired because you're not getting enough nutrition in your body.
That's true. Your body's trying to conserve energy because you're restricting energy. So all the fat that you have, that's stored reserves. Your body said, "Hey, calories are
I don't wanna
plentiful."
use it, huh?
Now, I want to talk diet pills.
Go ahead.
I think there's a lot of us that want a magic pill. I'm thinking we all want a magic pill. What is your take on diet pills?
Well, once again, diet pills are a short-term solution to a long-term problem. And so if you wanted to stay on diet pills your whole life, they might work.
You can do
But
it.
that's probably not healthy. And so if you don't address the underlying problem, the reasons that you're overweight to start with, then you're not going to have any lasting weight loss.
Well, let me ask you, as we get older, does your metabolism change? Or?
Your metabolism does change as you get older, but that's just one factor in the reason that people have a weight problem. There are a lot of factors. It's social, it's cultural, it's socioeconomic. Metabolism is one of those, but it
Right.
really doesn't account for the majority of weight gain.
So
The
people are
majority
going
of
to say,
weight
well, I'm
gain-
getting older and my metabolism slowed down, that's why I'm getting fat, when they're really eating bad and not exercising. And
That's true. It's both things. The metabolism doesn't help. It's slowing down, and that doesn't help you.
Right.
But if you were eating appropriately for your metabolism, you still wouldn't put on weight.
What about our society? Do you think that our society makes it harder, the day and age we
without
live
a
in?
doubt. You know, our bodies are designed to conserve energy. And that's from when we were hunter-gatherers, right? But now we're not hunter-gatherers. Now there's plentiful food. There's nutritious, high-quality food. Well, I say high-quality, calorie-rich food on every street corner. And it's cheap and it's easily attainable. And so we live in what I would like to call a calorie-toxic environment, meaning that, you know, it's not designed, this environment's not what we're designed to live with.
Well, look, you know, the name of the show is Live to be 100. What kind of eating advice would you have if someone wants to try to live to be 100?
I have to go back to the concept of balance. You know, we've all been taught since we were kids to eat the basic food groups in the right proportions, and that's what we're really looking at. That's a big part of it. Exercise is another big part of it. And then balance in the rest of your life, in your sleep, and your work, and your recreation.
We talked earlier when we were backstage, you know, we were talking, you said you have several questions that are very commonly asked all the time. What do you think that the audience would want to know? What are your common questions that you're asked?
Well, I'll give you the core foundation of weight management. Okay. People come in to see me every day, and they say, Doc, I'm not eating anything, but I just can't lose weight.
Yeah.
Okay, I know that's not actually what's really going on.
But it feels that way. It feels like you're not eating anything and you're still
They're
fat.
starving, and they're just not seeing the pounds come off. And the reason is that they don't really have a plan. They don't have an overall scheme of how they're going to lose weight. And they also don't know where their calories are coming from. So you got to know where your calories are coming from.
Right.
And the only way to do that is calorie counting. You're not going to do it just by
Maybe
guessing.
journal it or something?
Exactly.
Write them down?
Exactly. You can't just look at food and go, oh, that's a little less than I used to eat. You have to actually record it. You have to write it down. It's like keeping a checkbook. You know, if you're doing your checkbook in your head, you're likely going to buy some checks.
Because you don't realize how much you're shoveling in until you actually have to write it down.
Let me ask you this. I lift a lot of weights and stuff, and a lot of times if I don't eat enough protein, I will not lose weight, but I'll lose muscle.
Well, that is true, and protein is important in the diet, and you'll hear a lot of talk about proteins and starches and fats, and those are very prominent in a lot of the fad diets. And the protein is important as part of the balanced diet we were talking about, but the calories are still the bottom line when you're talking about weight loss. When you're talking about weight maintenance, like what you're describing, then yes, you get back to that balance. You're not necessarily talking about a calorie restriction at that point.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Such a great show. Appreciate
You're welcome.
it.
Thank you so much for being on the show, Doc.
All right, we do have to take a really quick break. When we come back, we'll meet a man who teaches chiropractic students how to help their patients achieve better health. We'll be right back.
Are you over 40 years old and wondering how to keep your energy up throughout the day? Email us at live2be100.com and ask Dr. Ted about keeping your energy level up. We'll be right back with Dr. Ted and Deanne here on Live to Be 100.
Hey, thanks for coming back. Y'all remember meeting Dr. Stockton in the previous show. Today he's going to help us explain and understand what exactly is a spring step and how it works.
Well, there's two different types of strength. There's the regular strength with the weights, you know, when you build your weights, with your body with the weights, and there's the spring strength. Spring strength is the kind of strength that Olympic coaches and great athletes want to attain because it's more efficient and it gives you more power. Can I give you a demonstration?
Yes, please, please.
Okay. This is the regular strength when I hit you as hard as I can with my finger. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my finger back, and you can feel that, can't you? Sorry about that. Yeah, it's a lot more power in that spring. Yeah, and not only that, but it's a lot more efficient because we're not using muscles that use energy.
Right.
And you know, when people run marathons, they run 42,000 steps to complete a 26-mile marathon. And you know what? You can't do 42,000 of anything without spring.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's why the people with the best spring have the ones that win all the races. In fact, they're the ones that can walk further and run without any aches and pains.
Wow, and I always get aches and pains when I run. I get shin splints and stuff.
Right. If you have shin splints, that means your body is landing without spring.
Oh.
Yeah. See, what happens is the foot is actually suspended from above by muscles. And when the foot lands, because it's suspended, it lands on the outside, it springs down, and then the muscles spring it back like that.
Okay.
So if we learn how to develop that spring strength, we can run without pain, and we can run for life.
Well, that'd be important because I know a lot of our audience gets shin splints when they run or even walk a long time.
Okay, now we're going to learn how to develop it. First of all, when we walk all day, it's 10,000 steps. So we're always walking forward. And like I told you, you have to move side to side with your feet in order to develop the spring strength. So rather than get on the treadmill when you get home, you have to supplement your exercise with things that you don't do during the daily activities.
All right.
So we're going to start with just simple movements to side to develop the movements of our feet. And you know, we do this barefoot because it doesn't have the shoe wrapping around the spring, keeping it from moving properly. So that's all we do, back and forth. Get the foot loosened up, limbered up.
Right.
And get the spring loose. Release the spring so it can work, okay?
And this will work as you get older. Your age doesn't matter. You keep your spring strong.
Well, you have to keep your spring strong because the #1 cause of accidental death is falls. And
really?
Yeah, falls happen when you land and you don't have spring and you lose your balance and you fall and you break your hip. You know what that means?
Yeah.
A lot of pain.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to avoid that by having good spring. Also, like I said, it helps us with running and walking as well.
Right.
All right, now we're going to do some more advanced things like lunges. We're going to move like this and stretch our foot like that. Okay, it's very simple, but we're stretching our foot and building spring in our feet. Okay, the next thing we start adding more complexity to it. Now we're going to do some jumping, light jumping. Okay, simple jumping jacks like this. Back and forth. See, that's jumping.
Right.
People say, well, jumping is bad for you because it causes strain on your joints. Not if you have good spring. If you have good spring, then it doesn't cause strain on your joints. Okay, then we're going to do some even more advanced, which is the ones that the athletes do. And this is like a simple single jumps back and forth, like this.
Like skiing,
These are called ski jumps. And it'll tire you out.
Yes, it will.
Yeah, okay. Now what we're going to do is multiple jumps, which is I'm going to start on this side, you start here, and then we're going to jump all the way across the stage like this.
All right.
Okay?
Both feet together,
Yeah, and then all the way back.
And how often should you do this and how long?
Well, you know what? This is a little more difficult than regular training. So maybe once or twice a week. And you know what? As you add the jumps and more higher jumps, it actually puts more stress on our joints. Stress is not bad as long as we have spring. So you always stretch out before you do this.
Right.
And also, you add a little bit of height more each time you do it, and you graduate into it.
Well, I can really feel the difference. I do a lot of jumping and stuff with my karate and stuff, but I always have my shoes on.
Yes.
Or, when I'm fighting and stuff, I wear, kicking shoes and stuff. And you can really feel the difference when you jump with no shoes on.
Right. When you move with no shoes on, it allows your feet to become more limber and allows your feet to move according to the way nature designed it.
Great.
According to the laws of nature.
Thank you, Dr. Stocks, for being on the show. Great information. Don't go away. We're going to be right back.
Hey, don't go away. Emails and letters when we return.
Welcome back to the show. Let's answer some of your emails.
All right, Dr. Ted, I've been going through these, and I think I've got to go in for you here. We have a viewer that wants to know, Dr. Ted, what do I need to know to stay fit for life?
Well, here's some important things you may not be aware of. One, you have to work each body part individually if you expect to get rippled muscles in that body part. Two, you have to maintain an exercise program for life if you want to stay fit for life. Three, you might not look like the model in that exercise commercial, even if you did lose 50 pounds.
Well, if I lose 50 pounds, I can't look like them?
You might not. If you only did the exercises they showed you in that infomercial, and you only used the machines that they showed you in that infomercial, you might not get the results. There's some people that are showing you how to dance, and yet they're getting big arms. I don't think you're going to get big arms from dancing, but you can get a nice flat waist, but I don't think you're going to get big arms.
Yeah, makes
sense.
sense.
You need to ask yourself, too, if you tried all the time and all the things that you're doing in the exercise program and you just don't seem motivated, your program's not working and it's not inspiring you to give you the energy that you need to work out all day long.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Thanks for watching. It was a great show and we had a lot of fun.
Yes, we sure did, and we really want to thank Skyla Ramirez and her students.
And Larry North and our good friends at Zoba.
They donated all of our yoga clothes. We're so happy. And of course, we had a fabulous studio audience here today.
And I want to thank Deanne, my co-host, and of course, all of you at home. We'll see you tomorrow, and until then, eat healthy.
Stay fit.
Energize
so you can live to be 100. Good show, Doctor.
Be sure to join us tomorrow when Dr. Ted and Deanne invite Allie Davidson to show off some gladiator moves right here on Live to Be 100.